Hi there, my beautiful person. I think you are ready for this Am I Overreacting family drama? Because you do seem like it, for sure. We love drama and we love family drama, so let's get started. This is Am I Overreacting subreddit. Am I overreacting for refusing to cook for my fiance after he told his family I don't bring anything to the table? Yeah, no, you're fine. But let's read the story. I, 26 female, live with my fiance, 28 male, and we have been engaged for about 5 months. I work remotely as a copy editor and also take care of most things around the house, cooking, cleaning, managing bills, etc. He works a 9 to 5 and says pays most of the rent, even though it is a 40-60 split. Last weekend we went to family dinner at his mom's house. His brother made a joke about wifey duties, and my fiance said something like, well, she's not there yet, still working on bringing something to the table. His dad laughed and his mom gave me a pity smile, like, you will get there. Huh? Call off the wedding. I don't know. I don't want to hear it. Call off the wedding. Did you hear that long pause? This is not a joke. This is complete toxic family. It smells like this family will get you so much trouble in the future, and if you are not going to get rid of this, you're definitely going to be dealing with a lot of things like that. They will discredit you for sure. I could already smell it. That is crazy. You don't do that. It is a very disrespectful and a very dismissive of everything that you contribute. You cook, you clean, you work, and you pay for the rent, and he's saying, oh, you're not there yet. Calm down. Calm down. Oh, I hate when that happens. I don't understand. Why is he not bringing you into like a higher spirits in front of his family? I don't understand. I just don't understand. I was stunned. I didn't say anything, but I stewed the whole ride home. That night, I didn't cook dinner. The next day, I didn't make breakfast or lunch like I usually do. He noticed and asked what was wrong. You. I told him I didn't feel like contributing to the table. Apparently, don't bring anything to. Love that. You're petty. He got defensive and said it was a joke and accused me of punishing him. He said I was being manipulative, but I haven't been able to get over how casually he said that in front of the people who already don't seem to think highly of me. Am I overreacting for going radio silent on the cooking and cleaning until he apologizes? No. Wait, you just said that they don't seem to think highly of you? So things like that already happened before. For sure. But because why are they thinking of you this way? I hate that. There's a very, very long comment on this post, and I really want to read it because it relates super well to this concept. I would like to add to what pretty much everyone else has said in regards to he has no respect for you in any regard. I agree. Completely dismissed everything that you do. Completely. And this is only get worse the longer you stay. A man who values you and respects you for you doesn't talk about what you bring to the table to at all. My ex-husband always made point that he made more money than me. Ew. But if we're being honest, not that much more than I did. He was enlisted military. He enlisted when we had been together for 3.5 years, and we got married for about 6 months later. He had only been at his one duty station for a couple of months. All this to say he wasn't making a lot. We were barely over the poverty line with his pay alone, but we lived in the base housing, so we technically paid no rent or utilities, but we lived in high cost of a living state. So while thankfully we never really struggled, there wasn't exactly much left over at the end of the day. I don't like that. Like, especially to the people who don't have it, you know what I mean? Like, you are not rich. Why are you talking of your partner like this? And dismissing them. But for the majority of the time we were at that first base, I worked part-time on base. Okay? But pretty much always scheduled me for as close to full-time as they could get away with without making me a full-time and having to give me better benefits. I know some jobs are really a-holes for that. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. So, he really wasn't making a ton of more than I was at the time, but the fact that I didn't have a full-time job, but he did, was all that mattered to him. But on top of that, I did 100% of the cooking. He would act like I was asking him to saw through his own arm with a rusty butter knife if I asked him to stir something while I took something out of the oven or I got something done. But also, expected me to do 100% of the cleaning and general housekeeping because I didn't work as much as he did. I hate that so much. You have a job, but you don't work as much as I do, so you do everything else. And while I didn't mind doing over the cleaning than more cleaning than him, because he did work long hours and his job was physically demanding, etc., I never agreed that was fair for me to do it all. Because he created way more than half of the mess on his own because he couldn't even be bothered to put his dirty clothes in a hamper. And he would leave his uniform pieces strewn across the house in various places, basically undressing as he walked. But he would throw a fit and start passive aggressively rage cleaning on the weekend sometimes if I had fallen behind on the cleaning. Which the house was never filthy or anything, but yeah, it got a bit out of whack occasionally or laundry piled up once in a while. But he always made a point that he made more than I did. Basically, that I did nothing and was useless. Long story short, there was a lot of emotional and psychological abuse, so much gaslighting, and eventually he was cheating on me with everything. What? That's crazy. And essentially blamed it on me. That's crazy. Fast forward to my current relationship, which is so different. He's nearly 25 years into his career in IT and has a VP in his title. Nice. Makes well over twice the median household income for our state, owns his own house on 3 acres of land, though he lucked out and was able to buy about 10 years ago before housing prices skyrocketed, but he has worked his butt off to be the position he is currently. But for the vast majority of our relationship, I've struggled financially. I've had many periods where I barely keep my head over water, sometimes pay bills a little late because I had to wait till my next payday to afford it, and found myself unemployed a couple of times through no my fault on my own. Once because the company I worked for lost the contract I was working under and dissolved that whole site. Fun times. And none of this has been due to mismanagement of finances, but thanks to trauma from my marriage, I have frequently worried about my current relationship due to our financial differences, and my jobs have usually been considered contract positions rather than officially full time, even though for the most current career I've worked 60 to 80 hours weeks. That is full time. That's crazy. Times that I have felt like I'm falling by not cooking dinner for him often enough in my mind because I have felt like that's all I can do to contribute. I've told him I feel like I don't bring anything to the table. He asked why I think that, and I tell him because I don't or can't contribute financially. I don't feel like I add anything. Like I don't contribute except I cook for him sometimes, but not often enough. So I'm failing at that one thing I can add into this relationship. This is just a trauma in your head that is speaking to you at the moment. If this man does not bring this up, which he seems to be very financially stable, he has a house, he probably won't be comparing his financial situations to yours. This is just your trauma speaking to you, which is completely okay. This could be worked through. And I hope you explaining that to him makes him understand what you're going through and he supports you in that sense and you guys talk through it. Because I don't know, he doesn't give me the impression that he's going to be pushing you or making you feel that way like your ex used to, which is so messed up. If you are in a situation like that, run. I know this is a comment from like a different story, but this is pretty relatable. He always just hugged me and told me he doesn't care about my financial situation, that I still bring so much to the table just by being me and loving him, that I contribute because I make his life better just by being in it. I contribute because we love each other. Oh, I love that for you. Love that. He doesn't need a maid or a cook because he kept his house and fed himself before I came along. And even if he didn't make as much as he does, my ability to contribute financially wouldn't determine my worth in the relationship. Several years in, and I still struggle sometimes to fully wrap my mind around this and accept it myself and release the trauma from my ex and accept that I'm inherently worthy of love and respect without regard to that percentage of our household income I contribute. Crazy story. And then there's like a too long, it's a long don't read abbreviation, and she just says, run, don't walk, run. It is crazy. It is crazy. There's a lot of really big comments about this, so I won't go too deep in this, but Guys, what do you think about it? Because I completely disagree with the boyfriend fiance, right? He became very, very toxic and he doesn't seem like he's supportive at all because, as you said, the parents are already think less of you for some reason. And listen, that is really, really bad for the future of the family in general, so it's no good, OP. Literally run. Relationships are not about cooking, cleaning, or the money. It's about respecting each other, growing together, and making things work, right? We're going to move on to the next one. Am I overreacting for telling my dad I'm not interested in playing happy family with his new wife and kids? Uh, let's see. I was raised mostly by my mom. My parents divorced when I was 8 because my dad cheated. Classic. After divorce, he moved out, remarried within a year, and had 2 more kids. He never really disappeared, but he definitely downgraded me from daughter to occasional visitor. That just sounds so bad. Sorry. That sounds horrible. He showed up for birthdays with a gift and disappeared again for months. Never called after school, never came to parent teacher night, never asked about my life. I stopped expecting anything. Anyway, now that I'm older and easier to deal with his words, he suddenly wants to be close again. He invited me over dinner with his new wife and their 2 kids, like we're one big happy family. I went once, it was awkward. His wife kept calling me sweetie, and then the kids asked if I was their cousin. My dad just laughed it off and told them, I'm like their big sister. No one corrected them. Huh? What's wrong with some of these men? I don't understand. After dinner, he said he wants to start having family nights every Sunday and that it would mean a lot if I came. I told him honestly, I'm not comfortable playing his fake family role. I said I'm open to rebuilding our relationship, but I'm not going to pretend like the past 15 years didn't happen just to make him feel better. He got mad, said I was being cold and selfish. His wife texted me later, say I broke his heart and that I should be more forgiving. So I am the villain for not being ready to play big sister in a family I was never part of. Some of these stories are so crazy. So he's getting mad and he's calling you selfish and cold. Really shows that he's completely not going to recognize whatever you've been through the past 15 years. He betrayed your family, right? Your mom, their relationship, and he betrayed you by leaving. And now he's like, oh, let's move forward. I have 2 other children that I really care about, and you're like their big sister. Now you have to be here every Sunday, or I'm going to be mad at you. You're not the villain for wanting authenticity in your relationship with your dad. Especially, you don't know the other people, right? In that other family. Well, other family. You don't know the 2 other children, so you definitely should feel uncomfortable. He doesn't respect that at all. I don't like that, so you're not. You're not overreacting. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not going to read those comments because they are brutal. I just skimmed through them. They're crazy. But yeah, I can't relate to the situation. I don't know how to feel about it, but I definitely don't understand what's wrong with these men and why are they doing that. They're like acting like it's no big deal. I hurt you, but it's okay. You'll be fine. Don't overreact. You're being so selfish. Huh? All right, you guys, next one. Am I overreacting for snapping at my friend for joking about my job again? We're going to be reading some text messages. We're going to be a little Snoopy again. Let's see. The client signed off on the rebrand. It was a ton of work, but I'm really proud of how it turned out. That's cool. Must be nice to get paid to doodle all day, lol. It's a bit more than doodling, but yeah, I love it. I mean, no offense, just saying sounds like fun. Meanwhile, I'm in the meetings all day actually working. Okay, let's downgrade jobs. Listen, job is a job, work is work. Every work I consider work is hard in their own way. You can't downgrade. Yes, some jobs are a little bit more maybe physically easier, some jobs are mentally easier, but you can't do that. You can't do that. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Well, okay, I'm not sure why you feel the need to downplay what I do. LMAO, I was joking. Why are you so sensitive? Reading some people's text just makes me feel some type of way. I don't know. It's probably just me. Because you say stuff like this all the time, it doesn't feel like a joke when it keeps happening. It's not weird to want my work to be respected. You act like I sit around drawing cartoons for fun when I'm working long hours just like you. It doesn't seem that hard, sorry. It's not like you're dealing with clients yelling at you all day or managing the whole team. You have no idea what my job actually involves, and for the clients, yes, I manage deadlines and revisions and creative briefs just like anyone else. Okay, 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 calm down. I didn't mean to offend you. I'm not even angry. I just want you to stop acting like your job is the only one that is valid or difficult. That is a valid response and a valid situation to be worried about because your friend is definitely downplaying you in thinking that their job is harder than what you do. I hate that. Fine, whatever you clearly, you can't take a joke and now you're making this a big thing. I'm asking for basic respect. You wouldn't like it if I constantly made fun of your work or told you it sounded boring. Exactly. I guess I didn't realize you were so touchy about your job. Sorry for not trying to have a light convo. Get out. Blocked. Right away. It is only light for you because you're not the only one being put down. Yeah. Crazy. OP, block this person. You don't need this person in your life. That's crazy. I recently got a full-time job at a small design studio after freelancing for a while. It was a huge step for me and I genuinely enjoyed the work. My friend works in a corporate and constantly makes little jabs about my career being easy and not serious. I usually ignore it, but during this convo, I finally said something. Yeah, you guys definitely defend yourself in cases like that, especially if it's your friend. I don't think your friend will be this unhappy for you getting something that is a little bit bigger. Like I would be happy about the smallest thing my friend decides to do, but if it comes to like changing careers into something a little bit more, this is beautiful. And going from freelancing to a full-time job is so hard and I could understand as a freelancer myself. So good for you to be honest. And you don't need friends like that. Let's read some comments. Spaghetti Monster says, that is not your friend. That is your enemy. Your friend is doing the same devaluing tactics that abusers use in their victims to make me feel worthless. For real. For real. It's like manipulation and it's like gaslighting in like its finest. I don't understand. Your friend even used the classic "you were so sensitive, you can't take a joke" combo to deliberately dismiss your feelings and gaslight you. Exactly. Good way of putting this. All as a way to avoid taking accountability for their actions. It will always be a red flag whenever calls you sensitive and you're overreacting for expressing your feelings for how their words upset you. Notice how your friend never apologized for upsetting you. That is telling LP. I agree 100%. 100%. If I was in a situation like that, I would be like, ew, get out. I'm blocking you. You're not my, that is not your friend. That is someone who is jealous of you. Completely. If you continue the friendship, your friend will continue to devalue and criticize your work until your self-esteem is in shambles. This friend of yours does not respect you. They want to dim your light. True. True. They're a complete walk-in a red flag. Do yourself a favor and cut this friend off from now on if you want to keep your peace. Yes, preserve your mental health and happiness. I've had friends like this in the past mock and devalue my interests and work because they were jealous of my passions. Exactly what I mean. Exactly. Oh, okay, that hurt. I'm not gonna do it again. I'm sorry. That was bad. The end goal will always be to break down your spirit and drag down their of self. Yes. Exactly. Next. Am I overreacting? Mother-in-law sharing room with baby. My husband and I have a 3-month-old that we recently moved to his bedroom because my husband is adamant about him staying in his own room and complains that he can't sleep due to the baby noises and grunts at night. I wasn't against this but felt my hand was forced when my husband just bought the crib and started leaving him there to sleep. We have a monitor and I just didn't want unnecessary arguing. The baby is in the next room and I can see him from the camera. I should note that we are in a 2-bed, 2-bath apartment. Where is this going? His mother is coming next week to help out and he has made comments about her staying in the room with the baby, even though I have said numerous times that I'm not comfortable with that and I would prefer the baby stays in our room during the mother's stay. His mom can do her grandmother duties during the day, but I just want my baby with me at night versus staying in a room with his mother. That is fair. That is fair. You're probably just not comfortable, and that is okay. I just don't know the situation deeply, so I can't judge based on what I'm reading right now. But I understand you're probably uncomfortable. You just want the baby to be next to you. This caused numerous arguments, and we haven't got any conclusion. He keeps saying that I don't like his mother. That doesn't have to do with anything. Come on. And it is not that at all. My baby is 3 months, and I'm not comfortable with sharing a room with anybody that isn't me. And I also find it weird that I would essentially be asking permission to go into a room anytime I want my child because he's in a bedroom with his mom. Good point. Good point. Is it normal for babies to share a room with grandparents? Am I overreacting for not wanting this living arrangement? You're not. You're just not comfortable. That is it. Like, period. That's all. That's all. You're not comfortable, and your husband should be like, okay, we're gonna make some other things work then. Period. Guys, let's read the comments. I'm sorry, but this is bananas. Why would your husband behave like that? Did he even want his baby? Sorry, but he sounds incredibly selfish. He probably prioritizes his sleep a lot, but I wouldn't call him selfish. He probably, I don't know. I don't want to investigate their relationship and what's going on behind the camera or behind the scenes, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know what could be going on that he doesn't want his baby around when he sleeps. Maybe he's just a hard worker and he wants his sleep. He prioritizes his sleep so he doesn't want to be bothered. And I don't know. I don't know what to I don't have a baby, so it's really hard for me to understand, but I'm trying to. I'm really good at imagining people in their situations, but this one has been hard because it's hard to understand what is happening between the people in the story, because there is no context. This comment also gives like a research, I guess. Please read. An American Academy of Pediatrics, AAP, recommends that infants sleep in the same room as their parents, but not in the same bed, for at least the first 6 months, and ideally for the first year, to reduce the risk of sudden infant death syndrome. Room sharing, as opposed to bed sharing, is safe practice that can significantly lower the risk of SIDS. There's also more detailed breakdown. First 6 months, room sharing is strongly recommended for the first 6 months of life, and this is when risk of SIDS is the highest. First year, AAP suggests that the room sharing can be beneficial for the first year if possible. Benefits from room sharing: it reduces risk of SIDS, yeah, the sudden infant death syndrome, then facilitates easier breastfeeding and responding to the baby's needs. True, may promote bonding and help parents better understand their baby's cues. Also, very true. Approximately 3,700 infants died of sleep-related causes in 2015, including 1,600 from SIDS, according to the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. That sounds horrible. That is horrible. That is horrible. So yeah, definitely understand why it's important for you to have the baby around you. And also, I don't know. I have my motherly instinct sometimes, especially if I am going through like that time of the month. I have my motherly instincts, although I'm pretty young still, but listen, I wouldn't let my baby be anywhere, especially at 3 months. My baby's being next to me. If my husband doesn't want the baby to be in the room, I'm not sleeping with my husband. I'm going to go and have a room with my baby, and the husband can still sleep somewhere else or in that room, whatever he wants. I don't know. This is just something to probably do in that situation, in that sense. But yeah, okay, you're definitely not overreacting. You are just being protective of your baby and you're not comfortable, and I understand. But I don't understand what you guys may be going through around there. Does that make sense? Right, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about these. These were pretty crazy. The drama is crazy, especially the first few. Make sure you check all the links in the description below. If you have any suggestions or what I should post next, let me know in the comments below as well. I really hope you have a good one, but for now, I see you on the next one. Bye!